Good morning, everyone. Today, it's a very special day. We've got a special guest Swami visiting us all the way from Berlin, Germany, Swami Baneshananda Ji Maharaj. He has been the minister in charge of our center in Germany since 2004, and he started the center from scratch, and that's no mean achievement. It's much easier to inherit a center from the previous head. He started it from scratch and has done an incredible job. He just inaugurated a brand new center in Berlin. It's a beautiful center. I saw it when it was under construction. So please do visit the Berlin Center if and when you get a chance. A little bit of a bio. He has been a monk for almost 50 years. And there are a lot of details which I'm skipping, but he received his mantra diksha, his initial initiation from Swami Baneshananda Ji Maharaj. And he received his sannyasa initiation from Swami Gambhirananda Ji in 1986. And he has served in many important positions. He worked in the law office in Belumat headquarters for a number of years. He was also the editor of one of our major English language journals called Vedanta Kesari. And he was in Chennai at the time when he was doing that work from 2000 to 2004. He's also done some scholarly work. He's translated the Advaitic text Panchadashi from Sanskrit into Bengali with the commentary. And there are many things I'm omitting, and he specifically told me not to emphasize his bio so much. Monks are beyond all these things. And so here's a little heads up on what's going to happen, because he has to get to a function after this talk. And so the plan is he's going to speak up to about 11:50 a.m. Normally what we do is after refreshments at around 12:05, we hold a Q&A in the greenhouse living room. That's not going to happen today. So instead, what we're going to do is just hold an abbreviated Q&A right here. He's going to finish his talk at around 11:50, and then we'll just hold a 10 to 15 minute Q&A right here. He'll address whatever questions you might have, and then he has to just leave immediately for that function. Okay, so he won't be greeting you guys here because he has to leave for that function. Okay. So that's the plan. So please join me in welcoming Swami Baneshananda Ji Maharaj.
Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. A very good morning to you all, and I will be greeting you for 50 minutes, so there would be no special greeting after that. And as you know, today I have been assigned to speak on the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. As you know, actually the Gita is not the name of this book. Originally it was called the Gitam. It was in the neuter gender, but since Gita is a summary of the Upanishads, and Upanishad is in feminine gender, so Gitam has become Gita. And you know, Gita has 18 chapters. This is a book which holds a lot of information about practical spiritual life. And for the first time, we find that all the 4 yogas have been dealt with separately and also as a combination of all these 4. So, of these 18 chapters, each 6 chapters together is dealt with separately according to the topics. The first 6 chapters discuss the topic which is known as karma yoga, karma. according to some commentators or scholars. And second six chapters, that group deals with bhakti, and last six deal with this jnanam. So our chapter 5, comes under the first section of 6. And excepting the first chapter, the 5 chapters in the Gita, the last one, sixth chapter deals with the yoga meditation, dhyana yoga. First one is just a prelude to the whole thing. So second chapter mainly discusses the idea of jnanam. As I said, that these first 6 discuss the idea of karma, but it is not that strictly the thing. It also mixes up with jnanam and bhakti. As we always see, at the end of each chapter, the thing goes like this: the Gita-su, Upanishadsu, Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri. These are the 2 ideas which have been discussed in the whole Gita: Brahma Vidya and Yoga. Yoga means karma and bhakti mixed together. That is the idea of Sri Krishna. So, in the second chapter, he says that Esha te bhita sankhye buddhi yoge tu imang shruno. So, sankhya is jnanam and yoga is a combination of karma and bhakti. So, before we reach the 5th chapter, you will see the 2nd and 3rd chapter. The second chapter discusses most of the jnanam, and 3rd, karma. 4th, again, the idea of jnanam, and 5th, also the similar thing. There are some subtle differences, but they generally discuss the same thing. So, this is a chapter which is known as Karma Sannyasa Yoga. This chapter has 29 verses. I will try to go as fast as possible through all the topics discussed there. Really speaking, this is a very important chapter because we get some special idea from this about our family life, social life here. There are 3 topics discussed in this chapter. So, the 5th chapter is part of the first 6, combination of 6. And then this has got 29 verses. And this discusses 3 topics. It will be easy to remember. Of these 3 topics, the first topic is the Nishtha-dvayam. Nishtha-dvayam means 2 types of ways dealing with our spiritual life, or 2 lifestyles, sometimes they call them lifestyles. The life of a monk and life of those who will be leading their life in this world, that will be coming into that afterwards. And the second topic is Yoga Dvayam, 2 types of yoga, Karma Yoga and Karma Bhakti Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga. And third is, it discusses some ideas about the practices, sadhanani. So, these 3 topics, first 2 topics are really very big topics. Nishtha-dvayam, we have seen, Shankaracharya himself says that the lifestyle as enjoined by the Vedas are of 2 types. Dividho hi vedokta dharma. Pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshanascha. Praninam sakshat abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu. It says that these 2 types of life, or 2 lifestyles, they are meant for achieving direct moksha And another one is helping us to achieve, leading us through material prosperity. And it deals with two very explosive emotions known as karma and the wealth. So desire and wealth. Now the first one, the life of the monks, it eliminates the two parts of the other lifestyle, that is Garhastha and Vanaprastha. Garhastha means life of the householders and Vanaprastha means the life of the anchorites. Now, we will be mostly leaving out the life of the monks because that is not very well, not necessary to be dealt with so much, because most of us are living in the world, even though some people are not householders, but people do live in this world, in this material world, and live a life in this world. So that is something very special here in this chapter. Now, according to the Vedas, this first type of life or first lifestyle, it eliminates two prospects, that dealing with desires, karma, and dealing with wealth. So monastics, they are not involved in that, because they are directly connected with nishreyasa, moksha, or spiritual liberation. But the other lifestyle takes us through this world, through the life of the grihasthas or householders, and there one has to deal with money and also deal with the desires. And there is the problem. And I would give you a hint to this special idea here, that when we are dealing with these two explosive emotions, that desire, karma, and wealth, we should be trained very well how to deal with these two things. If you are playing with fire, you should know how to deal with fire. Otherwise, it will burn you. So now they have given the two yogas to deal with these things. Now, for the monastics, the yoga is the path of knowledge. You just start after the brahmacharya ashrama. You start with jnanam, means you follow the path of knowledge and reach your goal, which is called liberation or moksha. But the second path, that actually is brahmacharya, garhastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Brahmacharya, there people are taught the art, how to deal with the two other next two parts of our life, stages of our life, that is the life of the grihasthas, married life, and also life after we are retired. And then what we do. So we have to deal with these two things. Now the situation turned out to be like this, that even during the time of Sri Krishna, Manu also hinted at that idea, that in the modern age there is only one ashrama, grihastha ashrama. Because there is no brahmacharya, also there is no training how to deal with situations in the life in the household. And there is no question for getting out of that and embracing the monastic life and leading ourselves towards our spiritual liberation. These two things have been simply removed from the scope of this. So we are born in the household, we die there. Everything is within that scope. That is another lifestyle. That is the third one. So that is how it has become now. So that is why Sri Krishna's prescription of these two yoga, that is very helpful. And mainly karma yoga is very helpful. Because as Sri Krishna himself says, and we can see in and through our own lives, as monks also, as those who are not monastics, for everyone there is no way but through actions. We have to perform action, whatever it may be, because that is the most important part of our life in this world. Everyone has to do work. And we should see that through that work we achieve our liberation. Karma has got tremendous power to help us in respect of our spiritual liberation and in respect of our getting bound by these materialistic ideas, material world. Tremendous power. If we do not do karma properly with proper attitude, what will happen? We really do karma and it gives us a lot of success, but finally we will see that it helps us to increase all our pride, ego, jealousy, all these things will be there. They will grow. And then life in the household will be difficult. Those who live, then they see. It will be very difficult to deal with the family life itself. If you get success in your in work situation. So we have to do work in such a way that it helps us to reduce all those pride, jealousy, ego, all these things. So karma or action or work has to be done with sincerity, seriousness, and a proper understanding of it. The problem is that there is a word called renunciation or giving up. The word renunciation is a bit difficult for us to appreciate. But in German there is a wonderful word that you just give up. Giving up means giving up all those things which are not helping us in our spiritual life, achieving our spiritual liberation. So we have to give up those things. That we do. We choose between what is good for us, what is bad for us. We choose between what is cheaper, better. These things we do every day. Therefore, we have to choose things which are beneficial for us in our spiritual life, and that will ultimately lead us to our spiritual liberation called moksha. So, but the problem is that when we are engaged in the work without training, that brahmacharya ashram is no more there in this third lifestyle. So then how to deal with all these problems? So we misunderstand this work in so many ways. That is why in the second chapter you will see that Sri Krishna has given a nice idea how to deal with this action and deal with the binding force of the action. He says that if there is a challenge, there is a work before you which you have to perform, then you look at that work as a challenge. And how to face that challenge? There are 4 ways he has said there in the second chapter itself, how to take on that challenge. Number 1, look at that. Now, problem is that you will see that as Sri Krishna has said, I will serially organize those 4 ideas, and you will see that what happens, we start with from the wrong end actually, then it creates problem. Sri Krishna says, look at any kind of action from the standpoint of Atman. Who is doing this? See that there used to be a poem when we were very young, we used to read that if a dog bites you, you cannot bite the dog in return. We cannot do that because something within us holds us back. But if you follow the law of the matter, then for each and every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So then we should bite the dog in return. We can't do that because something within us holds us back. That is the sense. That who is doing this work? Is it an ordinary human being or an Atman, a pure soul? So look at the action from that standpoint first, from the standpoint of Atman. And second is from the standpoint of Anatman. What is the value of this? Does it have a material value or does it have a permanent value? Then decide on the procedure or mode of taking on that action. Third is from the standpoint of our dharma. Then you know what you should do and what you should not do. That is also a very big thing to discuss. And the fourth one is from the standpoint of gain and loss. From the standpoint of gain and loss. But what happens, we do not start looking at the action following this serial order. Following this order, that look at this problem or situation from the standpoint of Atman. Instead of that, we look at the situation from the standpoint of gain and loss. Labha, labho, jaya, ajayo. So that creates problem. From that side we start. That is, in the modern day world, they talk about SWOT, strength, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. So what are our gain here? We look at that. But start from the beginning. Who is dealing with the situation? So that is one way of looking at the action that we have to perform anyway. Now another way, there are various methods. Now Shankaracharya says that do not look at any work from the idea of how much you will gain or desire. And another idea is that don't look at the result so much. Most of the cases it happens that we look at the result first. What I will achieve through this work. And that remains paramount in our mind even when we are doing that work. That should be there, but we should not be too much focused on that. We have fixed that goal and we will start doing the work. And then all our mind will be engaged there, and then we will perform the work very well, and the goal will be achieved at the end. Now problem happens that what would be the result of an action? Always we think that it will be a success. If we achieve a success after doing an action, then we call it a result. And if we don't achieve a success, then we don't call it a failure is not a result. But there is no guarantee that your actions or your endeavor will produce a success always. No, we remember one incident from the life of Edison. He saw that his lab was caught fire and it was burning. Then his son came and said that, Dad, see that our lab is burning. Then he said, call your mother. She won't be able to find such wonderful sight in her lifetime. Let us enjoy it. Then the son said, what are you saying? Everything is being burnt. Then Edison said, yes, with that is being burnt all my mistakes. I will start anew without those mistakes. They are our great teachers. Swami Vivekananda has said that we learn more from our suffering, failures, than from our successes. So we cannot guarantee that the success will be called a result. Failure is also a result, maybe a very good result. Nowadays people do researches, then they Google and see if someone has tried this method already. And there would be reports and they see that somebody tried for 6 months, it did not work. So therefore, you are helped by that result, which was a failure. But it saves you because you don't try that way again. So this way, success is not always a result. So don't get too much attached to a result which is called a success. Perform your duty, That is what is the message of the Gita. Perform your duty with all your heart and soul, and whatever comes, just leave that on God. That is how karma yoga is connected. Karma is connected with God, that is why it is called yoga. Otherwise, karma is karma, action is action. It won't be called yoga. All the yogas, they are called yogas because they connect us to our spiritual liberation. That is why they are called yogas. Now, in understanding this idea, we mix up so many things and try to give wonderful, beautiful names to our own fantasies or to our own misunderstandings. There is a funny, it's a joke, but it has a grain of truth in it. So there used to be 3 brothers who used to go to the pub every evening and used to drink 3 bottles of wine, each one bottle. So they used to have that habit for a long time, and after some time, the shop owner saw that 2 brothers are missing. And this one fellow is there, he ordered for 3 bottles. And then he came and asked, what happened to 2 other brothers? And you have ordered 3 bottles and they are not here? He said they got their jobs confirmed, so they have moved out of this town, gone to other towns, so I am drinking on their behalf. 2 more bottles on their behalf I am drinking. So after some time, this man observed that one day this fellow, he ordered only 2 bottles. Then he got curious. He came and said, I am sorry, what happened to one of your brothers? Why? No, you have ordered only 2 bottles. He said, you see, they are quite fine. I have ordered these 2 bottles on their behalf. But what I have decided, I should quit drinking. So my bottle is gone. So this is how we misunderstand things. We get involved in all things what have got materialistic value. Materialistic value means always changing. It is never constant. So we get attached to that, and we give nice interpretations to our attachments. That is not helping. So attachment in any kind is not helpful. Attachment. Sometimes, attachment is like that. We get attached to people, not myself, but I get attached to other people, other things, etc. This is, in essence, attachment to my own self. I won't get attached to others or to other things unless I find myself in them. So karma yoga is in a way very nice, but it is very challenging. And that is why Sri Krishna says we have to add jnanam together with this karma. Jnanam means the clear-cut understanding of what is the ultimate goal. What is my purpose? And when there is a purpose in our life, and we will see that that actually guides all our actions. We will not do too much with anything. So sometimes you will see that here we have got this shrine. So when we are doing worship here, they are all rituals we do here. But they are not rituals, they are helpful in our spiritual life because we are not doing things to show others, but to connect ourselves through all these things to God. Now see, if you are busy with your hands or whole body, you are doing action, but there is a purpose connected with that, that is a wonderful help, big help, that you are body, mind, soul, everything is connected. And it is connected with your spiritual ideal, which transcends the changefulness of this world. And that is why we are connected there and we gain freedom through that. But if we are doing it for the purpose of serving others, those who are seeing, and oh, wonderful puja, I am doing, people should appreciate, then I am not connected there. So these actions, they should connect us to our goal. And that is the idea of Jnana Yoga, that we are aware of our ultimate goal, ultimate purpose. And then you will see that in spite of all the changes, we will be led beyond the changes. We will be able to transcend the changefulness of this world, including my body. Everything is changing together with the world. So what could be a goal within this changefulness? Even the goal itself will be changing. So we cannot achieve a permanent goal within the scope of this changefulness. Therefore, it should transcend. That is why that is called transcendental goal. It will transcend all changefulness. And so, therefore, the life in the household, which is very much bound within the scope of these two explosive emotions, that our attachment or desire and the wealth. They are very explosive because they can turn the head of any person. Even the greatest of human beings, greatest of the sadhakas, they may fail sometimes because of these things, kama and wealth. So Sri Ramakrishna says, kama kanchana. So that is why that is the third lifestyle, which we can derive from the discussions in this chapter. And two yogas, as I have said, karma yoga, karma has to be connected with God. As I said, that leave the rest on God. Do your best and leave the rest, the result on God. Then you are free. Sri Ramakrishna gives an example that a person was very much worried about the life of the small child at home, and then he consulted many doctors. They all said that it is not curable. And then someone came and he offered to cure that child provided the father works for some special solution. He said that special type of medicine. What kind of medicine it is? He said that you should go out on a day when the stars will be in such a constellation, Swati Nakshatra, he says. Then you go to the cremation ground. There you will find a human skull. And it would rain, and some rainwater will be collected in that human skull. And there you will have to wait for some time. You will see that a frog will be coming towards leaping towards that skull. And when it settles down there, a snake will be chasing it, and then it jumps over the skull. And when the snake wants to bite it, and a drop or two of the venom of that snake will fall into that water, bring that water and I will make a medicine that will cure your child. Now see how many coincidences have to happen. And it did happen. Why, you know? In the beginning, this man, wonderful narration by Sri Ramakrishna, that before embarking upon such uncertainty, this man thought, if God does not will, all these coincidences will not come true. So he dedicated the life of the child in God, in the hands of God, and embarked upon that uncertain venture. See, everything happened. Everything happened one by one. As you go on reading, maybe your heart will start pumping in your throat. You come to that excitement that maybe it is going to happen, maybe it happens. And finally he brings that medicine. So sacrificing the life of the child in the hands of God, you embark upon all these uncertainties, everything will fall in place. That is the truth about our endeavor. If you perform your duty, it must produce its result. But don't get too much involved in that. Leave it on God. Then you are free. Because God is only one person who can do things which are not possible. Impossible things will be possible by His will. And when it is possible, it is His grace, and if it does not happen, it is His will. Many times you will see that there is a saying, somebody was saying, "Oh God, we don't know how many times you saved me by not fulfilling my wishes." In our life, if we look back, you will see that that is very true. So therefore, Karma Yoga is a wonderful thing that it helps you to work both mind, body and soul, mind and body together. You are working, your mind is there, you are doing puja, worship, your mind is there. But if you are meditating, only your mind is there and not there. It is traveling in the supermarket. But when you are working, your mind is there. So work with your mind, with a purpose. And then you will see that this body and mind together produces tremendous result, tremendous effect. Otherwise, one of our Swamis used to say, when you are meditating, check the level of your awareness. What is the level of your awareness? Close your eyes and then you just observe your mind. That's what Swami Vivekananda has said. While you are meditating, just observe the mind for some time. So when you are observing the mind, what happens? You will see that mind will be caught. You know, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, there is an incident. Sri Ramakrishna himself said that I was meditating, suddenly I saw that my mind has gone to Rasik's house. Rasik was a sweeper in the temple garden of Rani Rasmani at Dakshineshwar. So this Rasik used to love Sri Ramakrishna and knew that Sri Ramakrishna was the savior. And now Sri Ramakrishna himself is meditating and his mind has gone to Rasik's house. That what a wonderful license that when we meditate, our mind may go to supermarket. What is the problem? If Sri Ramakrishna's mind can go to Rasik's house. But Sri Ramakrishna was a savior. His mind went to Rasik's house to save him. But when our mind goes to supermarket, to save whom? So that has to be a very serious consideration. So the Swamiji has said that check the level of your awareness. If you find that when you are meditating, you observe your mind, it has gone to a temple, that is the level of awareness. And when you see that your mind has gone to a supermarket, that is the level of your awareness in meditation. So therefore we should be very careful. So it is always good to do some work. Then your mind is there with you. It has to be there, otherwise you will cut your finger. When you are cutting small things, vegetables, one of Sri Ramakrishna's disciples, Swami Premanandaji, he used to tell the novices who would come and work in the kitchen in Belmont that when you are cutting a vegetable, just think that you are sacrificing, cutting your anger. You are sacrificing your desire with this. I remember one gentleman who used to be there with me in the early days of our German center's life. He used to help me, and I was the only Swami there, and he was the only person who used to help me. So he was cutting small vegetables and small pieces he was cutting there. He was an old man. That time he was old, 70-year-old. Now he is 90. So he was cutting like that. I thought, why this old man will be working so hard? So I went and sat across him and started helping him cutting those vegetables. Then he looked at me and asked, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to help you by cutting these vegetables. He kept quiet for some time, then looked at me and said, you see, with each cut, I am taking Thakur's name. He's repeating his mantra with each cut. See the level of awareness. And if if you cut these vegetables, you are reducing my count. I will be losing so many names. So if you do that, then I will quit. I will go away. Then I got scared. He was the only person who was helping me. I said, no, you stay here, I go. I go away. I did leave that place that time. But that taught me a great lesson. Wonderful devotee. See the level of awareness. This should be the practice. Even if we are bound by these four walls of this household, we have never seen what is called brahmacharya. We will never see what is called a retired life, quitting everything and getting aloof from all this hustle bustle of the family life. We may not experience these things, but when we are there within these four walls of this life, we can increase the level of our awareness through all these activities. Activities are the best way to increase the level of our awareness. As I said, if you just sit and meditation, you are there with your mind, and mind can play thousands of tricks, like I have said, the quitting one bottle of wine like that, getting others to two others. So this way, this fifth chapter has helped us a lot to understand our situations in this world. It is not only those who are leading a life in this world through the life of the householders, but those who are also monastics who are living in this world and helping the world. They also have a great scope of practicing their level of awareness. When we are helping people, we are doing puja in the shrine, we can check it very well, and that helps us a lot. So these two nishtadvayam means two lifestyles, and through that we found the third lifestyle, which is called kevala grihastha. Kevala sannyasi, kevala grihastha, and the ashrama life. And then two yogas, karma yoga has to be connected with God or with the divine consciousness, and jnana yoga, that is the idea of knowledge that we will be achieving freedom from all bondages, from all changefulness. Now, you have been listening to these ideas of Jnana Yoga and Jnana Yoga lecture through the Vedanta centers ages together, so I am not going to deal with that. And the third one is sadhanani. So he has talked about the kama, krodha, etc. He gave some hint how to get rid of this kama, as I have said, connecting our result to God, result of our actions to God. That is one. And krodha, how to get rid of krodha. Gita has never dealt with this word krodha extensively anywhere, because of one fact that krodha is a byproduct of our kama, desire. That is a byproduct. Avidya, kama, karma. And that kama, if it is obstructed, that creates krodha, anger. So how to control our anger, that is not the main topic here, because that if we can control our desire, and then it is easy to control the anger. And then some idea about the jnanam also, that it hints at the concept of Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, so you have heard it several thousands of times. And so that is all about this chapter. But if we want to discuss this whole thing, then it will take a long time. Actually, each and every part of these three topics is very important. So I will stop here. I thank you very much for your attention. The special idea here is the life of the householder, those who live within the scope of the household only. So that is the special contribution of Sri Krishna here. So if you have any questions, then we will take those.
Thank you so much to Swami Baneshananda for that wonderful talk. And please don't feel shy. So please ask more. You have a brief opportunity, a few minutes now, to ask questions.
Yes.
So does anyone have a question? Please raise your hand and then.
And please ask very simple questions because we don't have long time.
So, which one is?
June,
This is July. I got it. Okay, thank you. I got it. So, yes.
Thank you, Swamiji. So I very recently lost someone younger than me, my younger sister. And it really, of course, being in the spiritual life, we know that this is a temporary, everybody has to go and everything. But when you lose someone at a young age and it just really... I just want to know what is the experience of the person who's passing away as they're leaving the body. I know that in Hinduism we say that the first 13 days they're there, then we do the Havan Puja and everything, and then their body carries on. And I was wondering if it's okay if you could talk a little bit about what happens in those 13 days, and then where does that soul, spirit, Jivatma, where does it go? What is the experience of that person?
Yes, that is a big topic. If you have listened to talks, life after death, and also this deals extensively about that. But in short, the idea is the person who passes away. There are so many things to know about that because we are bound by the idea of the law of karma. So at what stage of that law this person is, and that way the journey will be decided. Somebody who has reduced all the karmas in this life, then that person is liberated at that time itself. So there is no question of that person going through any path of light, path of darkness, this or that. And but still we don't know what happens to that person. That is why we fulfill all the obsequial duties which have been enjoined by the scriptures that we do. The main thing is that the idea of loss. Vedanta says that nobody is lost. We feel pain because we think that that person is lost forever. It is not the truth. The truth is that nobody is lost because that soul is immortal. Only thing that we can't see that soul in that particular form, which form is also not constant. As you know that our physical body itself undergone so many changes. Every 12 years all these cells are no more there. We are new person, new person, new person. I have been living in Germany for 21 years. I am no more an Indian genetically. I am the German. All souls, all cells are German cells. So therefore there is an international law. After 12 years you can claim citizenship. Nowadays 8 years, 5 years like that. Because you are no more an Indian, you are a German. So it is like that. So we have lost ourselves so many times, but we are still there. So this person is never lost. That is why when Arjuna came to Sri Krishna and talked about the death of his own son, Sri Krishna did not give any consoling advice in that sense that, okay, what will happen, and then I cry with you or I show my sympathy. No, Sri Krishna clearly says that this Atman, talked about the Atman is never lost. So you know that that person is never lost. It may be that this person has gone through the path of light. That is the law of karma, that is that person's own doing. But to talk about that means so many possibilities are there, but we don't know what possibility is applicable to this particular person. So that way, that is why we listen to all these ideas, but we don't know what would happen to this person. But that person is never lost. There is, I will share with you one epitaph on a grave. dead body is put inside the grave and covered. Then the grave is talking to this person. The grave is talking to this dead body. You had to come to me finally. And you took such a long time. And I am not far away from your house. And your own people, for which you spend so much time, you are late, so much late, they have they have gone back to your home after putting you with me here. They have gone back to your home after leaving you with me here. So this is in a way the truth about our physical body.
Okay, another question. Yes.
Swamiji, thank you. How important is a belief in reincarnation fundamental to Vedanta, to understanding and following Vedanta? I mean, I don't know if I asked that question correctly, but how important is the concept of reincarnation? Do I have to believe in reincarnation to follow this path?
Yes, you don't have to believe it. All the facts will prove that. Somebody is born with the knowledge of Beethoven, Bach, all these things. Nowadays in YouTube you will see all those things. Somebody is able to read the equation of the physics, and this language one has to learn as a human being only, because language is the property which only humans can understand and learn. That is a learnable skill. But when someone is born without going to school, etc., and seeing this equation there and reading it, so what do you say? This person had learnt it in earlier life. So there is no belief in respect of this. This is the only thing which is more reasonable. That Swami Vivekananda said, if you have a better idea, better theory, then I will accept that. No, you won't find any better theory than this. So there is no question of believing. I want to appreciate this idea, because day and night we are seeing the same, we are experiencing this. So reincarnation or rebirth, that is the only solution to all the unanswered questions, illogical facts in our life.
Other questions? Okay, there are a lot of questions. Let's start with this side, maybe give the left side a chance, the right side, depending on
Considering the four perspectives on action, the fourth being gain and loss, which we normally consider first, we should be acting from the perspective of the Atman first. And it seemed to be you're explaining that as a sort of like an intuitively guided action, as in we know not to bite a dog back, because it's inherent. Oh, because it's inherent.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. This is, that is why the Vedanta and other scriptures, they teach us our own values. What we understand about ourselves, our idea of Atman also will be different from each other. So my idea of Atman is different from your idea of Atman. But whatever it may be, the scriptures are there to guide us, and also there are experts also in this field who would be helping us, the gurus. So therefore we can take their help. And in all matters in the world you need so many guides and also so many counsels and help everywhere available, so that we can understand the situation and then act accordingly. Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your time here and your lecture for today and trying to understand the Gita. Well, many of us are students with Medhananda ji in his own Gita class, and we're presently observing the subject of the process of using upasana to reach obviously the higher levels of mind and control of mind in the process of sadhana and trying to gain moksha. But I was intrigued by the idea of reaching the level of experience that can be created from attainment of the heart chakra and its experience of experiencing Jivatma, and what that would take to actually get there. What is your perception of what it would, what kind of practice would be needed to finally at least attain that level of spiritual experience?
I think I could not.
So if you did, I just basically what she's asking is, what is required? What kind of practice should you do in order to realize yourself as the Jivatman, the eternal soul, separate from the body-mind complex?
Yeah, that you have to read this. You listen to talks on YouTube, and also that there are many books dealing with that. But in short, our own experiences will teach us that how to dissociate ourselves from the objects of our perceptions and going deeper and deeper inside us. So that is how one can practice, and that is very helpful. So, what to say?
I think, did you have who else had their hands up? So you did, okay. Oh, and back there, okay.
Hi there. I have a friend who has a lot of exposure to a lot of learnings and teachings, and he has practices that he knows he should be doing, but he's very reluctant to doing his practices. When he knows it will help him and heal his body, how can I help him to get over that block, to help him want to do his practices more and to help him do his practices more?
Yeah, Sri Ramakrishna would tell that you hire a first-class teacher who will sit on the chest of that person and make that person drink the medicine. So that person should be forced to do that. Otherwise, this is the problem everywhere. The problem of not having the willpower. And willpower is a learnable skill. By doing small things, one can acquire that skill, finally. So if one tells many things but does not do, what can you do? Let that person be like that.
Okay.
In this practice of gaining awareness and attending to that, I clearly noticed when moving just from a state of mindfulness into dedicated practice of sadhana that this awareness of paradox continued to show in very extreme ways. Is that just a part of the process, this recognizing of paradox? Is that, or is it the aspect of this being a non-dual tradition? Or does it require more intellectual, more analysis of those paradoxes or an acceptance of them?
Actually speaking, spiritual life is not that complicated. It needs a lot of our dedication, and we have to start walking. Sri Ramakrishna says that if you want to proceed towards the east, you should start walking towards the east. Then at one point of time, you turn back and see that you are getting farther and farther away from the west. So it is exactly like that. When you start practicing with a goal like God or anything, yourself like that, then slowly you will see that paradoxes, all these things, they are there. So there is a saying, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal. This is the truth about our spiritual practice in any field, not only spiritual field. So this is as simple as that, actually.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. If you have going once, going twice. All right, very good. Thank you so much to revered Baneshananda Maharaj for coming all the way from Germany. I thought that the talk was really excellent and that it was humorous and practical at the same time. And that tavern joke especially, it took a while for me to figure out, but it's very subtle. I really liked it. So anyway, thank you so much, Maharaj. And a couple announcements. Next Saturday, this coming Saturday, July 5th at 4 p.m., there's going to be an annual open house with Swami Ishatmanandaji from our Chicago Center. He will be conducting a special worship, reading, talks, and there will be refreshments served afterward. Everybody's invited to attend. So that's Saturday, July 5th at 4 p.m. at the Vivekananda House in South Pasadena. And then on Sunday, July 6th, there's going to be a Sunday talk by Swami Ishatmanandaji Maharaj, the head of our Chicago Center. And his talk will be called, in quotes, "Now We Have to Become God." And a further future heads up, later in July, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji, the head of our New York Vedanta Society, will be visiting us and giving 2 talks on weekdays. The 2 weekdays are Tuesday, July 15th at 7:30 p.m. here, and then the next day, no, not the next, yeah, the next day, Wednesday, July 16th at 7:30 p.m. So his talk on Tuesday, July 15th is called Beyond the Known and the Unknown, and his talk on the next day, Wednesday, July 16th, is called Do You Know Brahman? So please come for that. Because it's Sarvapriyanji, try to get a seat early. Okay. July 4th. July 4th. Okay. And then there's a July 4th program in Trabuco Canyon, the Ramakrishna Monastery in Trabuco Canyon, Swami Vivekananda celebration, and it starts at 12 p.m. There's a puja in the shrine, followed by a vegetarian lunch at 1:30 p.m. And at 2:45 p.m., there's a special program called Expansion is Life, Contraction is Death, with talks by Swami Baneshananda, the Swami who just spoke to us today kindly, and Swami Sarvadevanandaji, the head of our center here, and musical performances by Naren Hathaway, Zach Churchill, and Deva. So that's the July 4th program in the Ramakrishna Monastery in Trabuco Canyon. All right, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Would you like to do the closing mantra, Mara? Just.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.